So, can you actually beat Atlyss with only rocks? Short answer is yeah, kinda. Not really. Long answer is... And that's what you came to see, right? Now, why would I decide to do this challenge instead of playing the game normally? 1, I've already got like 80-ish hours in the game, and 2, I'm a freak and decided to partake in a bit of masochism by using a skill that is essentially useless. I'm not even joking when I say this is the first time I'll ever actually be using this skill. I've not even tested it out in the past, nor have I ever seen or heard anyone really using this skill. So I figured, why not try and make the game more difficult, because it's pretty easy for me at this point. The rules I set for myself are as follows. 1, I can only use rocks to deal damage. It means if I want to attack any enemies at all, I can only throw rocks at them. Any other skill or weapon is not allowed in an offensive manner. So basically, if it does damage in any form that's not throwing a rock, it's not allowed. 2, skills can only boost current rock throwing abilities. Like I said earlier, any skill that is capable of dealing damage is off the table, so skills like Rage and Imbue, which just boost stats, are fair game, but skills like Cyclone and Flux Bolt are off the table because they do damage instead of rocks. Plus, they would just make the challenge, way easier. Armor and classes are available, as rule 3. I chose to keep these 2 things because I felt that they enhance the challenge instead of taking away from it. They aren't inhibiting the spirit of the challenge, so I didn't feel the need to get rid of them. And if I got rid of them, it just unnecessarily make the challenge longer. Plus, they aren't breaking any of the rules I listed above. So the only caveat for this challenge is actually right at the very beginning. It's legitimately impossible to do the challenge with only rocks. You need to be level 2 to actually unlock the rock throwing skill. While yes, you can use your fist, it does break the first rule of the challenge, making it impossible. And while yeah, I do know that there are early quests, like with Angela giving you the walk around of the main area, those doesn't give you any actual XP to get the 2nd level. So instead of giving in and immediately willing to break a rule, I did something else to keep the spirit of the challenge. I went out to another one of my characters, bought an EXP book, and got myself up to level 2. And I can hear you saying, well, actually, that's cheating because you went to another account and leveled up your character. So now that they're gone, let's get started. As per usual, Angela gives you a couple quests to start with, killing slimes, wisps, and activating the points in dungeons, so I walk my fat bird ass over to the portal to start killing. And as far as I know, at this point, the rock throwing skill still sucks ass until I throw the first stone. Holy shit, the skill is actually good, what the fuck? So yeah, apparently the rock throwing skill was actually really freaking good, and can one-shot all of these low-level enemies. Like I said earlier, I've never once used the skill, nor have I heard anyone mention anything about it else using it, so this is genuinely shocking to me that it was actually this good. So I've got the basic starting quests from Angela, and I totally forgot that to collect what I needed, I had to get rid of my rocks, which could lead to a problem later on. Right now I'm blazing through everything in front of me, but since the skill default is set to 1, I decided to rename my attack and skill keys so that things would be much easier, and so that I'd be less likely to whiff a hit and ruin the challenge. And as per usual, I pretty much blow through the level 1 through 6 catacombs, everything falling to the mighty power of the rock. By the time I get back, I'm already level 5, and I'm headed straight for the Eiffel Terrace to kill some more Slimex. At this point, I'm still flabbergasted that I am two-shotting these guys when typically it takes a bit more work. After getting back from the gelatinous genocide, I could buy a couple new pieces of armor before heading back out to kill a Slime Diva. She was more of a pushover than usual, genuinely taking only 20 seconds and 12 rocks to the skull to defeat her. She might be sexy as fuck, but goddamn, she was also weak as fuck. After a couple more quests involving brutally beating up Boris and killing creatures in the catacombs, we finally managed to hit level 10, giving us access to classes. I ended up picking Warrior over the other 2 classes as it provides me with the most benefits, mostly in the form of boosting the hell out of my strength, which rocks scale off of damage-wise. Now, I didn't mention it earlier, mainly because I didn't think about it, but there are racial skills in the game. Birtles, for example, get the inner focus skill, letting their next hit be a guaranteed crit.
And I have a shotgun. Haha, let me prove it.
I didn't even think about that going into this challenge. I just wanted to play my Birtle girl, Cinnamon, that I already made instead of making a new character. Next up, though, I made my way to the Crescent Keep so I can actually progress the game. Mostly just to pick up the Waystone first, though. Before really getting there, though, I decided to do a couple more runs at the Catacombs so I can get some more XP and levels. I only did like 2 runs, as repeating Catacombs over and over can get pretty boring. I then went through the Keep, almost dying a couple times, but not quite getting there before I could attune the sigil and kill everything in the room. I then proceed to have the easiest run through the East Wing, all because of these dumb fuck-ass rocks. I'm not joking when I say that I have never first tried that section, but apparently just throwing rocks at people's skulls makes it easy. After that, I once again go back to the Catacombs, this time on a hard level of like 12 to 18. Even though I'm at base level to get in, this is still kind of a hard section because the enemy average level is about 2 to 3 times above my own. This go through actually does take a bit of time for a couple reasons. One, the enemies are hitting harder and faster, plus they have more HP and modifiers are more common, making them more deadly, mostly annoying more than anything. Two, the damage from my rocks has slowed down considerably at this point. Now, I don't think it's actually any part of my skill itself, and instead just me being slightly underleveled. The rock throwing skill is different from the normal attacks. Due to rock toss being a skill, it has a wind up and cast time, actually making it different after normal gameplay that sometimes when you try and block, you end up getting hit because the game didn't finish playing the animation of you throwing the rock. While it can be annoying, and at times I thought it was, overall I thought it made things more interesting because you couldn't just spam rocks. You had to properly be able to play with the cooldowns instead of throwing the damn things. And because of this, I actually ended up with my first death in the challenge. And I was genuinely surprised that it actually managed to get to this point in the game without dying once, but if you played the game before like me, you'd be unsurprised that this is where the first death was. Funny thing is later when I was fighting the boss, Lord Kaluz, pretty sure that's how you say his name, I only took one hit, even though this should, theoretically be much harder. So now that I've cleared this level of Catacombs, I decided to head to Tuul Valley to butcher a bunch of boars, because I'd rather not grind at the Catacombs more than I have to. Big mistake apparently. I ended up dying to a bunch of rage boars, which are normally a pain in the ass, but that giant spike on their heads is really shoved all the way up my ass playing like this. You want to know the worst part of this? It's not just the fact that I died a couple times, but rather the fact that I died just as I was about to pick up a rare cosmetic drop. If you die while it's on the floor, it just disappears. Luckily I found one later, but god, that pissed me off so much. I decided to try and farm XP in the Tuul Valley Chambers area, which is extremely painful as per usual, because the wave of enemies just keeps coming and coming, and not in the good way, mind you. I won't bore you with what's next, because it's just me grinding until I got to level 18, so let's just go to the next section. And finally we get to the Crescent Grove. Without thinking, I just went straight in for an attempt, but I completely forgot to stock up on rocks, so I embarrassingly had to leave, buy more rocks, and then go back in. Sadly the footage got corrupted, so I can't show you this happening. Just believe me, it was pretty embarrassing. Other than that though, the layout I got for Crescent Grove is actually pretty favorable for rock throwing, because it had a lot more open space to move around in, making dodging much easier. And eventually we reach a room where you need to do a bit of platforming to get to the sigil, and honestly I've just gone through it so many times, I found a couple of shortcuts to make it like slightly faster. And after only one more room, that did get a little dicey at times, we finally made it to the Colossus. Like most parts of the game, I've already got the boss's attacks memorized, which helped make it easier. And once the fight starts, I'm just pelting this man with a face full of rocks. Not even the Carbuncle twins that come out later could stop me from killing this guy with himself. And he eventually ends up dying in the most embarrassing manner too, with his own laser that I parried back at him, which is a little confusing because I don't think it's a melee attack, which is what parries. This could be where the challenge ends, but I figured I might as well do a bit more grinding so I can have the best gear possible, and so I can make the video that much longer too. I might end up just maxing her out though, because hey, that's a flex, and also just like maxing out all my characters. And before that, I did do a bit of dress up for Cinnamon, picking out a good outfit for her. And after a bit of trial and error, I got her to look hella fabulous and some glasses and the vampiric coat. After just a bit more grinding though, I finally reached level 21, allowing me access to the fighter's best set of armor, making me just that much better at pelting perpetrators with pebbles. I honestly did not expect this challenge to be as simple and straightforward as it was. Other than this single mishap at the beginning with needing to purchase an XP buck for the challenge to work, everything actually ended up going pretty smoothly. I honestly did not expect the rock throwing skill to be of any practical use. Though upon coming up with this, I thought I'd be something like, I'm going to take a minute on this because rocks aren't going to do that much damage or something along those lines. Overall, though, it was actually a pretty fun way to play the game, and if you're the slightest bit interested in it, I'd recommend doing it yourself, as it's pretty fun, and it's just challenging enough to where you won't be raging the whole time. Sorry for this video taking so long. I know it's been about almost a month since my last one. This is my first time doing a challenge style video, so I was kind of figuring out how to actually record most of the footage. So I ended up doing like a big chunk and then a bunch of little splits later on. But yeah, this took a long time because I had a bunch of tests, papers, and a couple projects for my college classes. And that had to come first because, I'm paying a fuck ton of money for that. But also it was due to a extreme lack of important medication that I needed, and So that was very, very impossible to work on anything. Like, I just could not get in the mental space to actually sit down and work on this for more than maybe 10 minutes at a time. And in the end, though, it actually ended up taking me a couple days to figure out what I even wanted to do next, because after that last one, I got kind of stuck. I'm like, do I make another Atlyss video because that last one did really good, or do I kind of do something else, try to not, I guess, mooch off the same formula? But here we are at the end of it. And as per usual, just do the YouTube shit, like, comment, subscribe. More than anything, if you want to help me, just subscribe, watch my videos, share them around, because that's the best way to support me right now, so I can actually start making money off of this, monetizing my stuff. But yeah, have a good day, night, morning, evening, whatever it is for you, and I will see you again later.